What's good, everybody? It's your boy Em, and today this is going to be one of the easiest quests to mess up in this game, and I want to walk you straight through it. In this game, you're going to be able to take your weapons, the rusty weapons, and upgrade them to the next level, but you need to learn the skill first. There is a skill book that you can get from an early quest, an early NPC, and it is super easy to either miss this or completely lock yourself out of it. So let's get straight into this. For the sake of this guide, I'm going to have to explain the entire quest line to you. So if you do not want any spoilers and you want to try to figure it out, I'll point you in the direction of where to start. And then when you think you're having trouble, or if you get nervous about a decision, come back to this video. If you're just ready to lock in and get all the information in one shot, let's get to it. So this is the city of Windhelm, and we all know Windhelm Village has the church. Well, you're going to want to come here, and there's going to be something specific that happens in this building. Once you get inside, you're going to witness exactly what's going on, and you're going to have to discover the entire mystery. For anybody who doesn't want any spoilers, this is where you want to begin. Now, I suggest that you take a look at this video right here about the atomic batteries, because you can get a potential atomic battery within this quest line. That's completely up to you if you want to watch that video or not, but it's going to give you some insight on how to set this up. Regardless, if you just want everything that you need to know for this quest, let's get straight into it. If you're in the beginning of the game, you need to talk to Nat. After speaking with Nat, he's going to give you the directions of Molly as long as you are kind to him and you don't talk about the interchange or the voices in your head. At which point, he will give you the coordinates to Molly. You go and you visit Molly once you have enough items to trade to her, and then trade enough items to her so that you can get her atomic battery. Once you receive the atomic battery, she's going to give you some gossip. Take that gossip over into Windhelm City and look for the Vicar. The Vicar is inside of the church right here. Now, once you head inside of the church, you're going to see a very interesting scene. For anybody who doesn't want to be spoiled, this is where your adventure is going to begin. Try to figure everything out and clean the mess that has been made here up, and good luck. Once again, if you have any issues, come back to us. For everybody who's locked in, well, there's a murder scene here. You got a sickle stabbed in the chest of this poor lady right here, and you have to figure out who in the world did this. The first thing you're going to have to do is talk to the Vicar. When you first speak to the Vicar, he doesn't really want to share any information with you because you're not from the village, but you can tell him that he can buy your, I guess you would say, silence if he gives you his atomic battery. That's going to be how you get a second atomic battery very quickly early in the game. Now, after you've bribed him for that battery, you can then continue to go through all of his dialogue and be kind of empathetic to the entire situation. Do not blame him or accuse him of killing anybody, but just listen to what he has to say. When all of his dialogue has been exhausted, you want to then check the body. On this body is going to be a bloodied note. Read the bloody note, and that's going to point you in the next direction. Now, it's very important that you do these things in a specific order, because you can lock yourself out of all the rewards for this quest line if you don't. I tried this quest for the past 5 hours in a bunch of different ways, and yeah, you can easily miss out on some of the rewards if you choose the wrong options. So as soon as you finish with the bloodied note, you want to immediately run your way right over to the, I think it's called the Mereview Hotel, and that's right over here. You go to the complete opposite side of Windhelm Village, past the robot and all the guards, and eventually you'll bump straight into it. All right, so it's going to be right over there. We actually want to cross up in here, head down, and that's going to be the hotel right up ahead of us. You can go ahead and hop over this, and I'll go ahead and show you my coordinates now so that you can get your bearings. I'm currently standing at coordinates 32.5 east and 81.5 north. But run past these soldiers, keep going along this way, you're going to see this little waterfall right here, cross the bridge, walk past the telephone, and over here to your left is going to be the Mereview Hotel. Now, with Mereview Hotel in sight, the note states that our victim was actually camping out in that little building right over there. So this is a building that you're not allowed to be in. When you enter in this building, make sure that nobody sees you in there. So make sure you duck down. You're quiet when you go in. And you make your way right around the corner here. If you have the metal detector, you'll be able to find this little cache right here, the lunchbox, but the note will be right up here. Grab everything, turn the corner, make sure you grab that item right up there. It's no longer here for me, but it will be there for you, and then exit out. All right, now that you read the note and you've realized that something has gone wrong and our poor little victim saw something that they shouldn't have seen, you then want to investigate the situation. Make your way over here. You're going to see a little bit of a, what do you call this? A hole in the fence. Go ahead and crawl through and make your way all the way up the path. Eventually, like the note states, you're going to come across a river. Once you see that river, go ahead and cross to the other side, right about here. Continue up and take this stone path all the way up to the top. Now, when you get to the top of this area, you're going to be attacked by rats, and there will probably be a guard up here as well. So this is where things get interesting. If the rats attack the guard like they will, he is going to start shooting at them. If I were you, I would immediately get away from this area for a little while, at least about 5 minutes, for the rats to actually take this guy out. If he aggroes you because he's irritated with the rats, this could set off a couple of issues with the guards here, and they can become hostile towards you. So once you get the rats' attention and you start attacking this guard, just leave them be. Once they take the guard out, you want to go right into this little cellar right here. Once you go down inside, this is going to be a place where not only you can get a Molotov cocktail recipe, but you're also going to find a bunch of amazing loot and 2 notes. Go ahead and read both of these notes and you'll be able to discover exactly who our culprit is. All right, now that you have crawled your way out of that really nasty dungeon of sorts, you then want to make your way over to the shop where Morris is. Since we know that Morris is the reason why our poor little suspect has been killed, we need to go ahead and confront him. However, when you confront Morris inside of his shop, you have to do it discreetly. Once you head inside of his shop, he's going to immediately address you and ask you a bunch of questions. Evade his normal questions. You don't have to really answer anything. And right over here is going to be a key. You can grab that just in case you may need it for later. Regardless, you want to be friendly towards him. As bad as that may sound, you do not want to make him upset. Be empathetic to all of the things that he is saying and be careful with your dialogue choices. You don't want to accuse him of anything. You do want to let him know that you know his secret. You know he killed, what's her name, Macy? He doesn't know if he can trust you or not. He doesn't really know if he knows you, but he's friendly nonetheless. You then want to go ahead and accuse him of basically taking out Maisie. Once you do this, he's going to question why exactly you know, but then he's going to realize that you've been basically sticking your nose in the places that it shouldn't have been. He's going to beg you for your silence, and this is where you actually have to agree with him. Agreeing with him and telling him he can buy your silence is the first of many good rewards from this quest line. That is going to get you the missable item, and this is so far the only way I've been able to find this item, which is the crafting skill book. This is going to allow you to craft weapons in the game. Once you have 2 of the same weapon as well as enough stimulants to buy this skill, you're gonna have to use some gun oil, but you can then upgrade your rusty weapons to stock and stock weapons to pristine. That is going to be the only way to get to pristine weapons in the game, so this is a must-have if you're interested in getting the most powerful weapons in the game. I haven't been able to find this skill book anywhere else, the crafting skill book. Once I do, if I do, I'll make sure I make another guide, or I'll leave a link in the description below so that you guys can have another option. But for now, and in this point in the storyline, this is going to be the earliest, fastest way you can get this. Now, just because he's bought your silence, that doesn't mean you can't turn on him later. And you actually do want to take him out because you don't want to have to spend money on the second item that he has. Inside of his inventory, this guy is holding on to this right here, the Painkiller Recipe. You're only going to be able to get this one of two ways, by either taking him out and looting it off his corpse, or buying it from him with a little bit of trading. I would not even bother doing that, because in order to get, I guess you would say, the best outcome to this quest line, you should be taking him out. But after you have agreed for him to buy your silence. So once he has given you the skill book, it's pretty much okay for you to go ahead and take him out, but you can wait for that for the moment. Just before you want to go ahead and take him out, we'll leave here. Since he bought our silence and we have our first prize, we want to go back over to the Vicar and question the Vicar. Once you start questioning the Vicar and you tell him what you know, you also tell him that you know that Macy was a spy for him, he's going to explain himself. Now, when he finishes explaining himself, he'll give you this special thing where you'll be able to get a little bit of extra information about scientists in a different zone, which is pretty awesome because he just throws that on your map. This is great information that you would not be able to get otherwise, so don't make him upset. If you make him upset and accuse him, or say that it was his fault, or say that you're going to side with protocol, he will instantly not talk to you and it will lock you out. That goes for everybody. If you ever tell them that you're either going to take them over to protocol or you're going to report them to Captain Sims, you're locked out. So you want to avoid that option at all costs. And that's going to be exactly how you get the skill book of crafting, as well as the painkiller and 2 atomic batteries, and finally some directions to the scientists out in another zone. If you like what I do here on the channel, make sure you smash the like button for me and consider subbing so that you don't miss out on more detailed guides about Atomfall. This is your boy M of M Sensei HD. For now though, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here.